Okay, hey everybody. So this is module 3B. We are in week 4 of the 13-week total wellness experience. And so this week we're going to talk about healing your design. This is cosmic self-awareness for total wellness. So I first want to share a little bit about my experiences with human design, and I'll talk about what human design actually is, and share some entry-level information with you guys about it that's really, really powerful. So first of all, I just want to say that I'm not a certified human design specialist, coach, or guide. The information for in-depth study and guidance on human design is available through Jovian Archive. I have no affiliation with Jovian Archive. Everything I'm sharing with you about human design is freely available on the internet, and I will share resources that you can purchase for yourself for deeper exploration if you decide you want to work with a certified human design coach, or if you think that you would like to become certified to help others with this information on a professional level. You'll want to visit jovianarchive.com. Okay, so let's get that part out of the way. So for me, I learned about human design about, it's been about 1.5 years ago. And at the time, I was really struggling with things with my business, with really being clear about who I am and what I'm here to do. And I had just gone through creating a huge event that didn't go as well as I wanted it to go. I had all these wonderful ideas about, just doing things to help other people, to share holistic wellness with my community. And while I had, a large audience, a large group of practitioners and business people in the holistic wellness community that were paying attention and that were, that came and supported the event, I didn't really get the support from the community. And so the whole process was very stressful. And when it was all said and done, I just felt like, here's something else that just didn't go right for me. I'm struggling to, do the things that I feel like I'm here to do, and I just don't understand why. So I took about a month to just really sort of recover. And during that month, I thought about what were some things that I felt like were missing. And I thought, I'm really, sort of winging it with my business. I'm, reading and learning and studying, but maybe I really do need someone to help me. Maybe I do need a coach. So when I put that out into the universe, immediately I got an answer, and I found someone who was sharing her coaching program on Facebook, and part of her program talked about human design. And there were just things about it that just resonated with me very, very deeply, instantly. And so I jumped right in. I started doing my own research. I dug up pretty much all the information I'm going to share with you guys is stuff that I found at that time. And it was all, like I said, freely available on the internet. And I was overwhelmed with the realization that this information was what had been missing for me. And when I took it in and really started to dive in and look at all these different aspects of my own energy, it very quickly became apparent to me that there were things that I had been doing before that were not aligned with the truth of my own energy. And I was doing them because other people said to do it. It's like, this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be this way. You're supposed to be that way. And it didn't align with who I am. It didn't align with my own energy. And therefore, I was locked in this battle of frustration and depression because I wasn't being true to myself. So, oh my gosh, I forgot the mic. So hopefully you've been able to hear everything I've said so far. But I'm going to go ahead and put this on here. And if necessary, I'll re-record this. So, oh well. So anyway, This has been one of the most profound discoveries of my healing journey, that I am designed this way. The way that I am, my natural tendencies to do things a certain way is the way that I'm designed, and it's perfect for me. I am myself. I am unique. We are all different, and nobody is the same, and nobody is supposed to be the same. And so, so that really brought me to the place where I am today, where I no longer am doing things because I feel that that's what I'm supposed to do, that somebody else is saying, you know, like other people's ideas and thoughts and feelings about who I am and what's right and what's wrong are correct, and my own thoughts and feelings are incorrect. I'm truly listening to myself, my inner guidance, my inner wisdom, and it's all spelled out for me right here on this body graph. So this is information I want to share with you guys because it is that powerful. I know that a lot of you already have some experience with human design with me. Some of you were there at the time when I discovered this for myself. And of course I shared it with everybody far and wide because it is just one of those things that was just like, wow, this like really lights me up and I just have to talk about it. So talking about it with a lot of people, many of you are already aware of your design. If you're not, we will get to that in just a minute. So one of the things that I do want to share is that human design will raise your frequency. And so the question you might be having is, how does knowing my human design enhance my energy healing journey? And the most direct answer to that question is human design brings us to a state of self-love, compassion, and healing, and it's transformative, and it will transform your daily experiences with yourself and with others. It will uncover areas that you struggle with. It will provide you a new way of showing up in your own energy. And part of your energy healing process is dependent on shifting your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs about yourself and your world. Okay, so that is the answer to that question. I'm just going to see if I can get this to go back to full screen. There we go. Drink my water, stay hydrated. All right. So where do you get your chart? If you don't already know, you're going to go to jovianarchive.com and you're going to download your chart for free. I'm going to give you a little bit of information, some keynotes, and some points about what is on the chart. But if you have not studied this next level of information that I'm going to share with you, then you're probably not going to really understand what any of it means. That's okay. I'm going to walk you through the most important aspects of an initial beginning understanding of this. It goes very, very deep, and for that reason, I'm not certified. I don't want to be at this point because I am still barely scratching the surface of what this information is beneficial for myself as well. So we're on this journey together, and I'm going to share with you what I know and what I found, and I'm going to tell you where you can find it. And this is going to be an opportunity for you to look at it for yourself and gain what you gain from it and have your own aha moments and your own epiphanies with the energy. Okay. All right. So what is human design? Human design is a cutting edge consciousness energy tool. This is the energy of your consciousness, the energy of your personality and more. Okay. This tool shows you your unique decision-making strategy. So everybody has a different way of making decisions based on their energy. And the way that I make decisions might not be the way that you make decisions. And it's perfectly fine, because when I make decisions based on who I am and my energy, they're going to be the right decisions for me, and likewise for you. Human design will show you your special gifts and talents. It'll show you where you carry your pain and your potential for healing, and also for wisdom. It is a synthesis of Eastern and Western astrology, the Chinese I Ching, the Kabbalah, the Hindu chakra system, and quantum physics. So there's a lot of various energies that went together to create the system. And if you need more details than that about it, then you can obviously go to Jovian Archive and get all of those details about how this thing got put together. And I will share some YouTube videos and things like that as well on the website. So you'll have access to more details if you need it. Your human design chart is calculated using your birth date, time, and the location where you were born. So we're going to talk about aura types. And there's this brief 7-minute video. I'm debating on if I'm going to share it here. I think I will. But there are actually 4 different types: manifestors, generators, projectors, and reflectors. And you'll see, based on this little graph here, the percentages of the population that make up these different types. Generators are split actually into 2 categories. So there are manifesting generators and then pure generators. And so we'll talk about those differences as we go along. But generators make up about 70% of the population. So most people are generators. In groups, this dynamic also changes a little bit as well. So at some point, we may talk about that a little bit, but for now, just know that 70% of the population are generators. 21% are projectors. Reflectors are only 1% of the population, and manifestors are about 8%. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video. It's a 7-minute clip.
The aura. In the New Age, the term aura is something that, well, is used all the time. I see it in the newspapers. I see it constantly being associated with the impact of human beings. But so little about the aura is really understood. Most assume that the aura is an energy field that is given off by the form, rather than seeing that the aura is a full expression of and a controlling agent of the way in which the form is going to work. We do not have the same auras, as you will see. The first thing to understand about the nature of the aura is how big it is. What you get to see in human design, through the mechanics of human design, is that you get to see how easily you are conditioned by another human being when that human being enters into your aura. And think about the size of auras. If you stretch your arms out in either direction from your body, and imagine that they could be twice as long as they are, and you form the sphere all the way around you, this is fundamentally the extent of your aura. Now, aura does fluctuate, but it's also something to grasp about the nature of aura, is that it is not hindered by walls or floors or ceilings. The reality is that when you are standing in a room, in an apartment complex, and you have a common wall that you share with a neighbor, the fact is that as you stand beside that wall, your aura is penetrating into the other space. Not only is it penetrating into the other space, but obviously it can be deeply impacted and conditioned if somebody is in that other space and they are connected to your aura. It is one of the things about entering into this process of discovering yourself, is understanding how important it is to protect your aura, particularly when you're sleeping. You know, it is one of the deepest recommendations of human design when you enter into this process of the experiment of strategy and authority, that you sleep in your own space, that you protect your aura from conditioning. Now, auras are not the same. They're not the same at all. What we get to see in human design mechanics is we get to see that there are 4 types: manifestor, generator, projector, and reflector. Each of these types express themselves through their aura. If you're dealing with a manifestor as an example, a manifestor has a closed and repelling aura. What that literally means is that the moment that somebody comes towards a manifestor, that their own aura is being pushed back. It is one of the reasons that life can be rather difficult for manifestors, particularly manifestor mothers dealing with young children. The reality is that the closed aura is something that can result in, a reaction from others that really is not accurate. The inability to be able to approach the manifestor doesn't mean that the manifestor is unapproachable, but it is expressed in the aura, and you cannot change that. You can become aware of it as a manifestor. And in becoming aware of it, you can take so much of the burden of your social dynamic off of your shoulders. If you're a generator, you have an open and enveloping aura. This is the most powerful aura that we have. The generator aura, generators are the key to life on this planet. They literally generate the life force of the planet. And as such, they have the most penetrating, in that sense, of auric fields. A generator will envelop anyone that steps into its aura. This openness in the generator is also a vulnerability for the generator. That is, in being so open and enveloping, you take deeply into yourself those that you allow into your aura. And then we come to the non-energy types, the projector and the reflector. When we're looking at the projector has a specific gift. They have a penetrating aura. It is a specific gift of theirs. Their ability to be able to recognize the other is rooted in the way in which their aura penetrates the other, literally to their G-center, to their core. Yet at the same time, for the projector, because their aura is so focused, it means that they are deeply vulnerable to conditioning while they are focusing. It also means that when we are looking at the difference between a generator and a projector, we see that a generator's aura can take in many beings at the same time, while the projector aura is only designed to deal with one person at a time. And finally, we come to the reflector, and we come to this sampling aura, what I like to call the Teflon aura, the way in which the reflector tastes the world around it in order to discover what is out of place, what doesn't work, what is different. You see, type is not simply a matter of looking at the strategy and authority that arises out of the graphic on the piece of paper. It's about recognizing that your type is alive in your aura itself. And the way in which your aura operates is impacting everyone that you're going to meet in this life. In so many ways, it is your aura that is defining you as a being. It is what, in essence, the other means. To be aware of the aura that you carry, to understand what it means to be one of these types, and to take advantage of the strategy and authority that is there. This brings the great refinement in life and the transformation of a life. And it's always about the other. When we're dealing with aura, we're dealing with the way in which we connect to the other and the way we are experienced by the other. So many auras are chaotic in the way in which they operate because the beings themselves are not correct. Follow your strategy and authority and enjoy the power inherent in your energy field.
Okay, so that, I love that video. It seems so clear. If you want to go back and watch this again, I will post a link to this video so you can have an understanding. But yeah, so it's a living energy that we all are. And so it's going to be, it's more than just what we see in this physical representation on this body graph. And it's more than just, understanding your strategy and authority. But understanding your strategy and authority is a wonderful tool for learning how to be correct in your own energy. And so we're going to talk about that. So again, the 4 types, the generator, the manifester, the projector, and the reflector. And after you have downloaded your body graph, you will know which type you are. So I'm going to assume that as you're listening to this, that you already know which type you are. And you've done a little bit of research, you've read a little bit about your type, and maybe even read on some of the other types. So if you go on my website, there are links on the Module 3 page with the description of each type. So you want to go ahead and read that, okay? So I'm going to assume that you've done that already. And now we want to really dive into paying attention to strategy and authority, because this is the one thing, if you learn nothing else from human design, in my opinion, this is like the #1 thing that you can use in your healing process to basically make huge transformations. When you start to pay attention to being in your strategy, moment by moment, naturally your energy field works for you. It takes the burden off of decision making and really helps you to stand firmly in your own truth, the truth of who you are, because you're aligned with your own energy when you operate in strategy and authority. So for the generator, which is most of us, 90% of or 70% of the population, the strategy is waiting to respond. Your energy field is, as the video said previously, open, inviting, and enveloping. And so as a result, you are always attracting everything, is always being attracted and drawn into your energy field. So really waiting, when you learn that you don't have to initiate anything, you just have to wait for things to show up, and they always do. And then you're going to respond to that thing that shows up for you based on your gut feeling of a yes or a no, which is the sacral voice, which is this here. I wonder if you can see my thing. Okay, so there you go, sacral voice. Okay, so the sacral voice, that's this red triangle, or sorry, red square. That is the sacral motor, and only generators have this. And this is where we can hear our feelings of yes or no. This is that where gut feelings live. And like I said, most people have it. Those who don't have this, we'll talk about what their strategy is later. But for those who have this, your strategy is to wait to respond to what shows up in your experience. And then using yes or no, gut feeling, yes or no, you're going to decide if it's something for you or not. Sometimes no is not right now, but you'll always be correct if you listen to that voice. That's the sacral voice. So the other possible authority, which is the authority, is emotional authority. And so those who have this brown triangle colored in, this is the sacral, this is the solar plexus. Solar plexus is the seat of the emotions, okay? So if you have this, you have emotional authority. What emotional authority means is that you're internally generating the emotional response that you're having to something. Now, when that emotional response happens, you cannot act on it. Nobody can. Even if you don't have emotional authority, you cannot act on emotions. Emotions are to be felt, and they have a message. And if you have emotional authority, when you allow the wave to pass, give it 24 to 48 hours, then you will have clarity. You can reflect on what the emotion was, and you can make a decision or a choice about that, knowing what to do going forward. So using these two voices in your body, you will always be correct in your energy. And when you're correct in your energy, you have vitality, you'll have the benefit of all of this other stuff that is defined within your field, and you'll be in a different space where things don't affect you the way that they may have when you were not listening to your own strategy and authority. So this week, what I want everyone to do is to understand what your strategy and authority is, and just reflect on times when you were actually in your strategy, when you were actually using strategy, making decisions based on that, and when you weren't. And just pay attention and notice what the differences are. Okay? So the next one we're going to talk about is the projector. And projectors are very similar in terms of waiting. However, what the projector is waiting for is waiting to be recognized and invited. Okay, so when you are recognized by those outside of you, there is a feeling that that brings you to that state of correctness. And then when people invite you to share what you know, then there will be no resistance to it. Okay, so projectors can have a lot of other authority as well. They do not have a sacral motor. So the gut feeling is not going to be the same, but there is a gut level of intuition. So that's this one here. You also still have that. You can possibly have emotional authority if you have this area defined in your chart. You also can have the authority of will. So that's going to be here in the heart area. That's willpower. You can have the authority of identity, which is here in the G center. And then you can have what is known as self-identified authority or sounding board, which means that you already know within yourself the correct answer, but you need to hear yourself say it in order for it to click that this is what's correct for me. So talking to somebody else, it's not going to be talking to them to get their advice. And as soon as you realize that about yourself, that you just need to hear yourself say it, then you can really go a long way, because you're not needing other people's advice. You're just needing to hear the truth of what you already know. Okay? So that's projector strategy and authority. For manifestors, your strategy is to inform before taking action. And again, for the manifestor, with your aura type being sort of repelling a little bit, when you inform, you actually lessen that, you reduce that that energy that kind of pushes people back, and you open up the path. And it's not for them, it's for you. Because that way you have no resistance to move into the things that you're wanting to do. And you, out of all of the types, are the only type that can initiate anything. So when you already have an idea of something that you want to do, and you try to go and initiate that, and you're meeting resistance, the only thing that you need to do is just inform that resistance. This is what I'm doing. So if the resistance is in the form of energetic resistance, speak it out loud. This is what I'm doing. And then you'll notice the energy will open up for you, and you'll be able to just go and take that action. If the resistance is from people, simply informing them, figuring out the best way to talk to people around you. You're not asking them for their permission to take action. You're just saying, this is what I'm doing. And magically, that energy of resistance dissipates, and you can move into the things that you're doing. The one thing that I've noticed about manifestors, and especially manifesting generators, because manifesting generators have this manifestor energy as well. And what I've noticed about them is that they tend to not want to tell anyone what they're doing. They just want to go do it. Like, why should I tell you? I already know what I'm doing. I don't need to tell you what I'm doing. So like I said, the informing is not for the other people. Informing is for you to clear the energy, to open up the energy and to clear the resistance so that you can move freely into the things that you're wanting to do. So just remember that. Informing is for you, not for them. The authority, again, can be emotional. So writing out that wave, the emotional wave for 24 to 48 hours, reflecting on what you know, going, okay, that's what that was about, and then making the decision based on what you know instead of the emotion itself. Intuition, again, is that gut feeling from the spleen. So it's not the sacral gut, it's the splenic gut, which is knowing instantly in the moment. The differentiation between fear and danger, those types of intuitive hits that you'll get. And then also the will center, which is the willpower energy of the ego also. So that is manifestor. And then reflector, there's so few reflectors in the world. I don't personally know any that I'm aware of. But the reflector energy is to wait and discuss. And it can take 28 days for the reflector to really have clarity because there's so much information that's coming in from outside. So the authority is the lunar cycle. And again, I don't know any reflectors personally, so I don't have a really good grasp on how this feels for them. If you are a reflector or you do know one, I would love to know more about how that strategy and authority works for the reflector. And you can share that in the Facebook group. Okay, so I think that is it for this video. Just go ahead and stop sharing that. Oops. Okay, so so that's what I wanted to share with you today about the human design. And so we're gonna go slow. We're gonna take it step by step, and really take the time to explore the energy, to explore what these different things mean for you. And if you really want to go ahead into it and you really want to just dive in, you can feel free to do that. There's a book called Understanding Human Design by Karen Curry. And so that is the book that I suggest people get because it's just really well done. We'll use some of her information as we go through this process as well. So on the module, you'll find the PDF, download the PDF, answer the questions that are in the PDF. And then in your meditation or your contemplation or your mindfulness practice, which you should be doing every day, you can just post that question in your mind, right? Post that question. What does my strategy and authority really look like? You know, what are times that I've used it without really even knowing that's what I was doing, and the results? What, now that I know about it, when are some times that I wasn't using it, and what were the results? And so go ahead and contemplate those things for this week, and then we will move into some different aspects of your human design in the next 3 weeks. So until then, if you have questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to post those in the Facebook group. Okay. Thanks, guys. Talk to you next time.